Hi, everyone. It's Steph. This week, I want to talk to you about something that is really difficult, particularly for newer business owners or for owners of businesses that are established, but you're looking to up level your clientele, your services, and you're looking for that growth, right? Trajectory is really important. You want to try to set yourself up in such a way that as you gain clients, the object is to keep them. It's not to just be a revolving door where the people, coming in are replacing everyone who's leaking out the bottom because they're having a bad experience because you're not set up to really service them. So I'm going to give you an example. Now, this particular entrepreneur is relatively new in his business, but I've seen this situation crop up in established businesses that, again, are looking to achieve that next phase in their development. And maybe they're getting ahead of what they're actually prepared to do. So here's the scenario. Okay. This particular gentleman is really good at what he does. His services were quickly in high demand. Right out of the gate, he started this business and had explosive growth. He didn't have enough time or didn't create the space for him to be able to anticipate, let alone implement the systems that he needed to have the foundation to support the pressure and the weight of all of this growth that he was taking on. I appreciate that one of the hardest things to do is to not accept new clients. That's really hard. When you're looking to grow, saying, no, I can't take you on right now it seems very counterintuitive. But if you haven't created the space ahead of need, there has to reach a point where you can only take on so much before you have to pause and either let people know you have a waiting list, or you'll be able to onboard them 8 weeks from now, or rehome them with a trusted colleague. And yes, maybe they become someone else's client, but what you haven't done is you haven't jeopardized your own reputation because you haven't taken them on and then failed to live up to your promise to deliver on that service. So what happened with this particular gentleman is this explosive growth, and then he wound up working behind the scenes 70 hours a week at a minimum and scrambling to try and keep everyone happy at the expense of his own sanity, at the expense of his time with his family and with his kids. And it just became unsustainable. And he started to lose accounts because he couldn't service everything that he was taking on. So I want to emphasize this is a very common dilemma. I don't begrudge anyone trying to earn their living, right? I mean, we create a business for a reason. So we're trying to make a good living. We also want some control and some say over how we do that. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with those benefits. So it is difficult to say, no, I can't take you on right now. And there's a fear that if we say no, they'll never come back, or they'll spread the word that we're not available, instead of focusing on the reality of our situation, which is we are simply ill-equipped for the growth that we say we want. So I really encourage you to take an inventory and go through a visualization exercise. If your business were to grow rapidly by 20%, what are the points of friction that come up? How successfully could you onboard your client? How many clients or projects would 20% growth represent? Would you have to hire employees or bring on contractors? How much time would it take to properly train them and get them up to speed so you could begin to delegate work so you are not the bottleneck and working 70 hours a week? Start to think about the natural ripple effects of 20% growth. Yes, 20% growth is sexy. The money that comes with it could be great. But if you are unprepared to take it on, all of that growth, all of that trajectory is just going to implode, and it's going to take your reputation with it. So more is not necessarily better. And I find myself having a lot of conversations with clients lately about how Americans view work and the values and the culture that we have around, bigger is better and be bold and like the sexiest idea wins and, all of these very hyperbolic values that we have around work. When in fact, a reasonable pace, like systems, sustainability, then growth, and really focusing on growth at that point. There's a certain pace to that and a certain practicality to that that does not sound sexy. It's not a soundbite, but it is reality. So if you find yourself feeling very conflicted about how to go about your growth, or you're getting, again, like this very hyperbolic advice about how to just, you'll figure it out. You have an obligation to meet to your clients. Are you prepared to meet that obligation? That is a really important question, and it's central to your long-term success and your retention and your referability. So if you are struggling with figuring that out, if you are struggling with your growth, that is why I'm here. Please let me know if I can help you. And, this is a tricky one. This is a big question and a complicated scenario to figure out. So, take your time, think it through, and if you need it, ask for help. So that's what I've got for you this week. Hope you're having a good fall. It's so beautiful. Little tip, if you are doing some big picture problem solving, go for a walk, because the right side of our brain, that creative, innovative side that loves to solve problems and really enjoys sinking its teeth into challenges, sunlight, fresh air, like the stimulation of your environment, these are all things that feed the right side of the brain. So when in doubt, go for a walk. That's what I've got for you this week. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everybody. Bye.